and she ratted him out. Jon Jones did it. And then Jon's on the phone with the cops, and allegedly he threatened the cops when he was on the phone, which is not good.
We're not saying that.
I'm not saying that.
We're not having it.
Nah, definitely
Too much respect for Jon Jones, the GOAT of UFC. Is it fair to say he's the GOAT of UFC?
100%.
He is the GOAT.
I think the reality is, whatever changed his mind with this fight, I don't know. You'd have to ask him that, but he's 38 years old, and I don't know.
Following the recent tension between Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall, UFC commentator Joe Rogan shared his thoughts on what should come next for the interim heavyweight champ. During a conversation on his MMA podcast with UFC light heavyweight Khalil Rountree, Rogan expressed that if he had control over matchmaking, he wouldn't go with Cyril Gane as Aspinall's next opponent. Instead, Rogan suggested an alternative. "I'd line up a fight with Derek Lewis," he said. "Cyril Gane can wait. Derek just scored a massive KO. And let's be honest, who's more entertaining and loved by the fans than the Black Beast? That's the fight to make."
Right? You lived in that division.
I also never beat him.
Yeah.
And I had, no matter what I did going forward, it was always that, well, you never beat Jon Jones. Tom Aspinall is going to get that belt, and there's going to be a gap, right? That lineal championship breaks. That line breaks when Tom goes from interim to champion.
Joe Rogan believes the conversation around Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall is no longer relevant. In his eyes, that chapter has passed, and it's time to look ahead. Even though UFC CEO Dana White recently made it official, Tom Aspinall will defend his interim heavyweight belt against top-ranked Cyril Gane at UFC 321 on October 25th. Rogan has a different opinion, that he argued that a clash with Derek Lewis would generate far more excitement among fans. Currently sitting at number 9 in the division, Lewis just made headlines with a stunning 35-second knockout of rising Brazilian talent Tailson Teixeira. That performance only added to his cult favorite status in the UFC heavyweight ranks.
What happened?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that Thailand was the end of it. We were talking about it before that. But yeah, the fight was done. We had the fight done a long time ago. So why he decided not to fight, you guys will have to ask him that.
Khalil Rountree, appearing as a guest on Rogan's show, agreed that a Tom Aspinall versus Derek Lewis matchup would be a thrilling spectacle. Still, he pointed out that Cyril Gane might be the more strategic choice from a business standpoint. According to Rountree, the UFC's decision likely stems from its global ambitions. "It makes sense to go with Gane," he explained, "especially with what he's doing in France." With Aspinall representing the UK and Gane standing as a national figure in France, the matchup taps into the UFC's push to grow its presence across Europe, suggesting that market expansion may be taking priority over fan demand or divisional rankings.
I got no ego. I don't...
Yeah. I understand you don't want to talk about it. Do you believe that maybe outside of Jon Jones, you versus Tom is probably the biggest fight in this division?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Khabib Nurmagomedov also weighed in on Jon Jones and the current state of the heavyweight division. In an interview with Russian journalist Adam Zubayev, Khabib shared a candid take. He no longer believes Jones is in his prime. "How many times has he fought in the last 5 years?" Khabib asked. 1 or 2. That's not enough. He pointed to Jones's close and controversial wins at light heavyweight, particularly against Thiago Santos and Dominic Reyes. As signs of decline, Khabib didn't hold back, saying his best years are behind him. Then he came back to fight Cyril Gane. But let's be real, they just gave him a paycheck. That's all it was.
I'll just come out and ask you, do you think Tom Aspinall?
No. Jon Jones, I said it a million times, I'll say it again. He's never ducked anybody other than that one goofy time with the Chael Sonnen thing. He's never ducked anybody. And, I think the reality is, whatever changed his mind with this fight, I don't know. You'd have to ask him that. But, he's 38 years old, and I don't know.
Do you think if it was someone like Alex Pereira, he would fight them? And it's maybe Tom that he specifically doesn't fancy the matchup?
Khabib also shared his thoughts on who currently sits at the top of the heavyweight division. And in his view, it's Tom Aspinall. However, he made it clear that true legacy comparisons between Aspinall and Jon Jones can only be made after both men have finished their careers. To reach the level of Jones's legacy, that's going to be extremely tough, Khabib admitted. He emphasized that while Aspinall may be the best right now, the conversation about who had the greater impact will only hold weight in retrospect. Meanwhile, Jon Jones has hinted at a possible return. After news surfaced that former US President Donald Trump floated the idea of a UFC event at the White House in 2026, Jones revealed that he's officially re-entered the UFC's anti-doping testing pool, a move that suggests he may not be done just yet.
We will absolutely positively put on the baddest card of all time.
McGregor hasn't been in a while. I saw right when this came out, he was back in the ring. Jones, we don't know if he was serious. Is he not retired anymore? Is he back in
You jump back in the pool, so...
Really?
Yeah.
Officially?
Yeah, yeah.
Re-entering the UFC's anti-doping program is a required step for any fighter looking to come back after a long absence or official retirement. But the timing of Jon Jones's move raised eyebrows throughout the MMA world, especially with Tom Aspinall just announcing his title defense against Cyril Gane. Veteran UFC fighter Matt Brown shared his take during an episode of The Fighter Versus. The writer, while he made it clear he doesn't believe Jones is scared of Aspinall, he acknowledged how the situation looks from the outside. "I'm as big a Jon Jones supporter as anyone," Brown said. "I've always defended him. He's not afraid of Tom, and he'll fight anybody. But it's tough not to get pulled into that narrative right now." Brown added that the rumored White House event might be what sparked Jones's comeback, but at the same time, he couldn't ignore how it seems like Jones is sidestepping a direct clash with Aspinall.
So they've announced this White House UFC fight. Can we expect to see you on the card?
Yeah, I can't promise anyone anything, but I have very strong feeling that I'll be on that part. It's going to be historic.
But who would you take on? Who would be your dream opponent?
I would want to take on whoever's holding the belt at the end of the year.
Any possible names you think?
Well, no, I mean, as of right now, the champion is Tom Aspinall, but we'll see who's the champion at the end of the year.
Matt Brown didn't hold back in criticizing the idea of Jon Jones returning for any opponent other than Tom Aspinall. In his view, choosing a different fight, for whatever reason, would be a conscious decision to avoid the interim champ. If Jon comes back and faces someone else, that's a clear choice not to fight Aspinall, Brown said. He was careful to clarify that it doesn't necessarily mean Jones is afraid, but the decision would still speak volumes. Maybe he's looking for a lower risk fight, or just wants an easier payday. Maybe he doesn't want to go through a tough training camp, Brown explained. But in the end, it's still a choice, and it's not the one fans expect. He went on to say that while UFC President Dana White might be fine with Jones fighting anyone, fans won't be so forgiving. If you're Jon and you skip over Tom Aspinall, you have to realize how that's going to look, Brown warned. People are going to say you're dodging him. Brown concluded by saying that no matter what Jones's true intentions, the only way to silence the doubters is by stepping into the Octagon and proving it.
Looks like Jon Jones finally wants to fight Tom Aspinall, but this time at the White House. I told you guys that Jon Jones was playing chess, not checkers, this entire time. Someone just tweeted this at Jon Jones saying, "Ducking Tom Aspinall, ? Best decision you ever made, ? Jon responded, "Choosing when to attack and where you want the battlefield to be is not ducking, my friend." Try telling every single one of you that Jon Jones was never ducking Tom Aspinall. It's very clear here that Jon Jones is playing chess while...
Before announcing his return, Jon Jones had already drawn criticism for repeatedly postponing his comeback after defeating Cyril Gane. His first planned title defense against Stipe Miocic was originally scheduled for UFC 295 in November 2023 but was scrapped due to injury. While Jones remained sidelined, Tom Aspinall stepped up on short notice to face Sergey Pavlovich and delivered a stunning knockout win to claim the interim heavyweight title. That moment catapulted Aspinall into the spotlight as the division's rising star and intensified the demand for a title unification bout between him and Jones. However, despite growing pressure from fans, the UFC never booked the fight. With Jones leaning toward retirement and staying inactive, questions started to swirl about whether he was avoiding a clash with a younger, faster, and more active Aspinall.
I'm as big a Jon Jones fan as anybody, and I've always defended he's not afraid of Tom. He's willing to fight anybody. It's hard to not fall into that narrative here, though. You know, like, to me, like, fighting in the White House, like, that doesn't do it. But maybe I'm a different person. You know, maybe everybody looks at it different. For me, like, if you tell me they're going to have a fight at the White House, like, cool, all right, like, it'd be cool to do it. If not, whatever, like, a fight's a fight.
With Joe Rogan bringing Derek Lewis into the conversation, it's worth noting that Lewis is yet to share the Octagon with Tom Aspinall. Many of the other top 10 heavyweights have either already lost to Aspinall or don't carry the same momentum Lewis is right now. A UFC veteran since 2014. Derek Lewis has built a reputation as one of the most dangerous knockout artists in the promotion's history. His recent 35-second finish of Teixeira proved he still carries devastating power, even at age 40. Known for delivering exciting fights, Lewis continues to enjoy broad fan appeal across the MMA world. Cyril Gane, while currently holding the #1 contender spot, has already come up short in 2 previous title bouts. His technical, movement-based style has drawn criticism for being less thrilling than some of the division's other heavy hitters. Still, as the face of MMA in France, Gane holds strategic value for the UFC's ongoing push into the European market. By matching Gane with Aspinall, the UFC not only sets up a high-level clash between elite heavyweights, it also creates a marquee European headliner that strengthens their foothold in both the French and UK markets.
Last thing, guys, Dana White said, the last thing Dana said was, Kyle was asking him what would be his dream card. And he said, Jones versus Aspinall, Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler. He thought that would be the perfect one. And the guy started talking about this, Kyle means. And Dana goes, the UFC landscape will have changed by then. We got a whole year. Hey, initially we thought this was just a...
During a recent conversation, UFC President Dana White was asked by Kyle Fagard what his dream fight card would look like. Without hesitation, Dana named 2 blockbuster matchups, Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall, and Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler. That he called it the perfect card, but also acknowledged how quickly things change in MMA. The UFC landscape will be completely different by then. We've got a whole year, Dana said, suggesting that while it's a great idea, it's still just that for now. An idea. Meanwhile, Tom Aspinall has been clear about his intentions. He's eager to defend his interim title against anyone who adds real value to his legacy. Publicly, he's stated that he wants to face Jon Jones first, followed by Cyril Gane. With Jones still inactive and Gane scheduled for October, Aspinall appears focused on unifying the division, one opponent at a time. Impressively, he remains unbeaten in UFC bouts that go past the first round, and the majority of his wins have come by either knockout or submission, showcasing his dangerous finishing ability.
Cyril tweeted that he thinks you should be careful what you wish for, and he'll see you in Paris. How do you think you match up against Cyril?
I better be careful, apparently. Yeah. I think I match up pretty well against him. I think I'm equally as fast as him. I move equally as well. The difference is I can grapple. I've got a lot of power. And I think that's pretty undeniable at this stage of my career. I've got a lot of knockouts on my record, mate. I have to touch you one.
His ascent through the ranks has been nothing short of impressive, already boasting victories over elite names like Marcin Tybura, Alexander Volkov, and Sergey Pavlovich. Meanwhile, former boxing world champion Amir Khan has openly expressed skepticism about Jon Jones crossing over into the boxing world. While Khan acknowledged Jones's incredible achievements in MMA, he didn't mince words about how he thinks the transition would go. In Khan's words, Jones is nearly untouchable in the cage, a dominant force with unmatched skill. Put him in with anyone in MMA, and is taking them out, no question, Khan said. But boxing is a different world entirely.